Today, I'm going to be joined by Dan Little from Link My Books. He's the latest strategic partner spotlight. So we're going to get to find out exactly how Link My Books can help you as an accountant or bookkeeper to ensure that you are offering the best value and also to save some time. To hear about our latest offer from Dan, please watch the recording and like and subscribe our channel. So today I am joined by Dan Little from Link My Books. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking.
So today we're going to be talking to you about our strategic partner spotlight for this month. So if you don't mind just giving us a bit of information about yourself and Link My Books, that would be great.
Yeah. So I'm Dan Little, co-founder and CEO of Link My Books. A little bit about me. My background is actually as an Amazon seller. So I was 2 times 7-figure Amazon seller, sold both of those businesses. And what I learned from that was that accounting for e-commerce sales is really tricky. And so as part of that process of selling the business, I decided that there was a niche in the market to be able to automate the bookkeeping side of things from sales channels like Amazon, but we now also support loads of other ones as well, into the bookkeeping platforms like Xero and QuickBooks to sort of like take the pain away from the general day-to-day bookkeeping.
Excellent. And obviously you speak to our community as accountants. So what's the biggest pain that you solve for accountants who own their own practice?
Yeah. So I think that what we talk about now as a company when we're looking at our accountant customers is that we find that they spend 70, 80, 90% of their time getting the data either from the client or from the sales channels directly if the client's given them the logins, and then processing all of that information, trying to make it work out in a spreadsheet to be able to separate everything out correctly to account for the right amount of VAT, and then put it into the bookkeeping system manually. And then they spend very little time actually doing value-added services like analyzing the data, producing reports that show growth or opportunities for growth in various channels, and then feeding that back to the client. And so I think that for us is the pain point, is that we want to be able to flip that on its head and say, let's stop spending any time getting the information from the sales channels and putting it in the bookkeeping system. And let's spend all of your time analyzing what that data actually means in order to deliver true value add services to your client.
Brilliant, thank you. No, so from my perspective, the idea is, as with all cases with accountants, it's the amount of time they're bookkeeping. So the idea is to spend less of that in order for them to be able to spend more time helping their customers understand where it is they're making their money and where they're perhaps making losses and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think going back to my experience, like when I was running my Amazon business, I actually branched out and started to sell on Shopify. And for 6 months, I probably spent 90% of my time selling on Shopify, trying to perfect that. And if I'd had someone at the time that was able to say, listen, you're spending a lot of time on Shopify, but you're only making 3 to 4% of your actual profit on Shopify, maybe you should look at some other opportunities within Amazon. It looks like you're making good inroads in Germany, for example. Like if they'd had that level of data available and they were giving me those tips, I could have saved myself 6 months of hate, I suppose. It's maybe a strong word, but 6 months of torture going through Shopify trying to make it work.
It's also given accountants, so just for me thinking about this, it's also given accountants the opportunity to sell another service. So as well as Link My Books helping them, they're able to also offer some consultancy services into giving their clients better understanding of their numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we see that now, like people who are using Link My Books, who started off, they came to us, they had 3 or 4 clients that they were pulling their hair out, they were spending loads of time wasting loads of time getting those 3 clients, and that they hated them. They don't want any more e-commerce clients. It's such a typical position. And then they come to us, they realize how easy it can be. And now they're the ones that have got like 30, 40 e-commerce clients. They love them because they make so much money off them. They're lucrative clients, and they spend half the time or even less than they used to spend on just those 3 or 4 clients. So I think it's just about having the right systems in place to be able to work with those clients and be able to optimize that.
Brilliant. Thank you. So just give us a brief, your big hitters, the sort of the ones that the systems that you integrate with. I know that obviously the accountant side is Xero and QuickBooks, I believe.
Yeah. So on the accountancy platform side, we've got Xero and QuickBooks. They are the main ones in the English-speaking markets, which is our sort of market. And then on the sales channel side of things, we started off with just Amazon, but now we've got Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify. We've just added Walmart. So if you've got any clients that are selling in the US on the Walmart integration, Walmart marketplace, we can do that now as well. And then depending on when this video goes out, today is the 5th of July. So we're probably about 2 weeks away from adding general support for TikTok Shop in the UK. So that's a new marketplace, relatively new. It's been around 2 years, but it's sort of been fizzling in the background. But a lot of our clients who are selling on Amazon are starting to branch out into TikTok Shop because they're seeing a huge uptick in profitability there. So it works just the same as Amazon. They can send all of their goods into TikTok Shop warehouses, and then TikTok Shop do all the fulfillment and delivery and deal with returns. And all they do is just create listings and promote them and use sort of influencers, so TikTok viral videos and stuff like that to promote the stuff. And so I think that again presents itself as an opportunity for accountants to be able to say, listen, now that we've got this piece of software that can automate the bookkeeping for you, we know that you're selling on Amazon, eBay, and Etsy, but have you ever heard of TikTok Shop? And would you like to be put in touch with someone who can help you to maybe branch out there and sell some of your products there? And I know that's sort of like going against what I said before, that I branched out to Shopify, but I think it entirely depends on the market and the product. And so I think it can work for some sellers.
Yes, but I think yes, there is. I guess there is a slight sort of going against what you say, but also with the software, once they've got it in place, you're going to be able, or the accountants are going to be able to help them understand where it does work. So branching out all of a sudden isn't a stab in the dark, a finger in the air. There's going to be able to, with your software and their accountancy software, they're going to be able to identify whether it's working. So I think that's great. So what else is in the future? Is there anything else you can share with us that's coming up?
I suppose the ones that are coming next, we're looking at Square as a payment integration. So that's both on sort of the internet payment side of things. And I think Square does like terminals. So it's like people using it as a point of sale in their stores or when they go into markets and stuff like that. We're also looking at things like BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Magento, Stripe direct integrations. And then although we do integrate with Shopify, and Shopify has many different payment gateways, what we are thinking of doing is also integrating directly with some of those top performing payment gateways like the likes of PayPal and Klarna and ClearPay. And the reason being is because when we connect directly to Shopify, we can pull the sales and refunds for those various payment gateways. But the way that it works currently is we do a monthly summary for, say, Klarna, for all the payments that were done through Klarna. And then we put the total value of that into a Klarna clearing account. And then as the payments are received by the client into their bank from Klarna, you put those into the clearing account and it nets off. And then you deal with the fees yourself directly from Klarna. But if we integrated directly with Klarna, then we wouldn't need to pull that information directly from Shopify. We could do it payout based, just like we do with all the other sales channels. So we could say Klarna has paid the client £1,000. What does that break down into in terms of sales, refunds, fees, and all the VAT on those items as well, which is obviously how we do it for all the other sales channels in terms of every time the client receives a payout, we break that down, create a summary invoice, and make it so that it's 100% accurate for both VAT and your P&L. So I think that stuff like that could be beneficial to both the client and the accountant.
Yeah, I think the bookkeeping element, obviously, as well, for any bookkeeping companies as well. To recommend that they use something like Link My Books. I think it's going to be massive for them, especially given all the automations that we talked about earlier on before we started this. But it's
absolutely.
Great.
And I mean, going back to that point that you said around, like, maybe I went against myself in terms of expanding out into other marketplaces. But I think that by having Link My Books there, as you said, and being able to then expand out into a new marketplace, test it, but then measure the results. I think that's what all successful e-commerce businesses are doing. It's just A/B testing. Everything is A/B testing. It's like, does this image work better than that image? Or does this text or that title work better than that title?
Mm.
This in itself is just another form of A/B testing. It's like, okay, can we take this product and can we sell it on TikTok Shop? Let's test it for 3 months, and then we'll measure the profitability. And is it a viable option for growth for us? So I think that's what I'm sort of talking about as the underlying theme here, is that let's get away from, oh, we don't want another sales channel because it's a load more extra work. It's not. It's like tick a box, connect TikTok Shop, you're done. We can then post the data into Xero. You can measure profitability directly inside of Xero. You can see it split by sales channel. It just makes it so much easier to be able to advise your client on the best routes to market.
Yeah, added value. I think that's it's a lot of the way I think accountants are talking about making money. Advisory is a word I think people talk about, but ultimately for me, you've got projections, because in the accountancy world everything is always backdated, isn't it? We always talk about what happened last year, whereas this is another tool that accountants can use to help them grow, as opposed to telling them what they did last year and
100%,
it didn't work.
We have a lot of accountants now who have got like hundreds of clients with us that are sort of started off relatively small with like 10 or 15 clients, and then they've grown to like 100, 200. And they're starting to offer like virtual CFO or virtual FD services, where they literally sit inside the business and they have monthly sort of financial meetings with the owners. And they are sort of the financial director side of the business, but just in a virtual format. And those services are pretty lucrative, if I have to say so myself. Like, they charge an absolute fortune for that. And the clients are willing to pay it because of the value that they gain from that. And I think that's where this partnership, this strategic partnership, can be very, very slick. It's like, have the right software to be able to make your life easy, to be able to then analyze the data and then use that analysis to charge the client a huge sum of money and provide them with a lot of value, and everyone wins.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Dan. So, assuming that everybody else agrees that this is a fantastic piece of software to use, that you've also got an offer for our community, if you can just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So not only will we help to onboard you, so we can do direct one-to-one onboarding calls with, we actually have a team of in-house accountants who you can speak to on a Google Meet or a Zoom call, and you can go through the setup of each of your clients, and we can make sure that everything is working as it should be, so we can hold your hand, so to speak. But we also give you the first 3 months 50% discount. I think you use the coupon code TAM offer, as in the Accountant Mastermind offer, and that gets you 50% off your first 3 months.
Brilliant. So 50% off your first 3 months of any of your charges, I think is a fantastic offer. Depending on where you're watching this, the link will be below somewhere of how to get in touch with or take advantage of that partnership offer. We'll post a link, and if you fill in your details, we'll make sure that Dan or a member of the Link My Books team gets that, and then you can start your journey. So thank you very much for joining me today, Dan. It's been a pleasure to catch up again and learn about some of the new stuff that's coming in with Link My Books, and hopefully we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, cool. Enjoyed it today. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks.